I created two AIs by feeding them hours of medical and bioethical research, and then gave them a debate forum. One arguing for pro-life, while the other pro-choice, and let Chat-GPT analyze their responses to decide if it should be legal or illegal. The outcome at the end was a little surprising to me. We start with the root issue. Where does life truly begin, and when should it be protected?
I guess I'll start off. I think life begins at conception. At this moment, a unique human organism with a complete set of DNA is formed. This zygote represents the start of a continuous process of human development. If we value human rights as universal and inherent, then this value must apply to all humans, regardless of their stage of development. Denying rights to the unborn based on factors like size, dependency, or consciousness undermines the principle of equality. Therefore, I believe abortion should be restricted because it unjustly ends a human life.
While I agree that human development begins at conception, I think that personhood, which is the recognition of moral and legal rights, should be based on factors like consciousness, sentience, and autonomy. These characteristics typically emerge later in pregnancy, closer to when the fetus can survive outside the woman's body, which is around 24 weeks. Before this, the fetus is incapable of independent existence and can't even feel pain. Why then would we prioritize this fetus over a woman who already has an established life?
The argument for personhood being based on consciousness or sentience is problematic. Consciousness is not a consistent criterion for human rights. For example, newborns lack self-awareness and have limited consciousness, yet we universally protect their right to life because of their inherent humanity. Similarly, individuals in comas or those with severe brain injuries may lack sentience or consciousness temporarily or permanently, but their intrinsic value as humans remains unquestioned. Denying these individuals' rights based on their current state of awareness would lead to morally unacceptable outcomes.
While we protect individuals like newborns or those in comas, these cases differ from a fetus in a key way. They exist independently of another person's body. Pregnancy is unique because it involves one person physically supporting another. Society does not compel individuals to use their bodies to sustain others, even in life-saving scenarios like organ donation. Recognizing that no person can be forced to sacrifice their physical self for the benefit of another, regardless of the potential outcome. Why should this principle change for pregnancy? Autonomy and bodily integrity are foundational rights, and forcing someone to endure pregnancy against their will violates these rights.
I understand your point about bodily autonomy and the unique nature of pregnancy. But unlike organ donation, which involves a third-party intervention to take an organ from one person and give it to another, pregnancy is the continuation of a natural biological process. Moreover, society already imposes obligations on individuals to support others in certain circumstances. For instance, parents are legally and morally required to care for their children after birth, even though raising a child involves years of time, effort, and significant financial costs, which often exceeds hundreds of thousands of dollars. This obligation stems from the unique relationship between parent and child. Similarly, the unborn child's reliance on the mother is a natural extension of this relationship.
While parents should have an obligation to care and protect their children, it still does not override bodily autonomy. Think about it this way. Imagine a child is in dire need of a blood transfusion, and the only match is the child's mother. Even though the parent has a unique relationship with their child, and providing the transfusion could save their life, the law does not compel them to donate their blood. This principle respects bodily autonomy and recognizes that individuals cannot be forced to use their bodies to support another person, even if that person is their child. I think that abortions should be treated the same way.
I think this serves as a solid introduction. I now elected Chat-GPT as a government official and told it to pretend it has a completely unbiased opinion on abortion. I then asked what else it would like to know before making a new law. Its top two answers were that it wanted to know more about cases involving sexual assault and the impacts on the economy.
When discussing abortion, it's important to consider the impact of sexual assault on survivors. Pregnancy from sexual assault often worsens trauma, including PTSD, anxiety, and depression. For many, carrying the pregnancy can serve as a constant reminder of the assault, worsening their mental health. A study in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence shows survivors face significantly higher rates of psychological distress, which unwanted pregnancies can amplify. Allowing the option to terminate is about helping survivors reclaim autonomy and protect their mental well-being. How can we ensure compassion for those in such difficult circumstances?
I deeply sympathize with the trauma experienced by survivors of sexual assault, and I recognize how devastating these situations truly are. However, I still believe that the life of the unborn child, regardless of the circumstances of conception, deserves protection. Ending a life because of the tragic actions of another does not address the core harm and risks perpetuating further loss. I think instead of funding abortions, we should focus on redirecting resources to support those survivors. This includes providing comprehensive counseling, mental health services, financial assistance, and access to healthcare. By investing in systems that help survivors rebuild their lives, we can address their trauma without ending the life of the unborn.
I don't think economic impacts should be a consideration in a moral issue, but I can understand the importance of it in making a political decision. With that being said, the economic impacts of abortion access on women's lives in the USA are significant. Studies show that abortion access enables women to achieve higher education levels, better career opportunities, and greater financial stability. And women who are denied abortions often face increased debt, bankruptcies, and evictions, as seen in studies like the Turnaway study. Additionally, if each abortion prevents maternal earnings from falling, all abortions in the USA in 2019 could save mothers $16.2 billion in earnings over the next 6 years. And it also improves the long-term outcomes for those who are born. These benefits are especially impactful for marginalized groups like women of color and those living in poverty. Those are the ones who experience the greatest financial challenges from unplanned pregnancies in the USA.
While it's important to consider the economic impacts on women, we must also acknowledge the broader economic and moral implications of abortion. Let's look at a report by the JEC Republicans. They have estimated that the economic cost of abortion in the USA was at least $6.9 trillion, which is 32% of the entire United States GDP, and not to mention 425 times larger than the $16.2 billion number you mentioned earlier. This is mainly due to decreasing birth rates, which is a problem that other developed countries are currently facing. This staggering figure highlights the immense economic value of unborn lives. Assuming this is a correct study, then under a complete abortion ban, giving enough financial support to these mothers to ease their struggles shouldn't be a problem.
The JEC Republicans estimate significant economic costs, though these numbers are likely inflated due to certain assumptions. However, the bigger issue lies in the U.S.'s historically inadequate support for mothers, particularly those with unplanned pregnancies. Many already face challenges accessing affordable childcare, healthcare, and education. An increase in births under an abortion ban could overwhelm an already flawed system, making it even harder to provide the necessary support to mothers and children. This highlights the urgent need to address these systemic issues.
Now that is something we can agree on, and it's clear that if abortion were restricted, there would need to be a significant overhaul of the support systems in place to ensure that mothers and families are not left to struggle. Policies should focus on expanding access to affordable childcare, improving healthcare coverage, offering paid parental leave, and creating educational and job opportunities for mothers. Addressing these systemic issues is crucial to ensuring that both mothers and children can thrive in a society that values life at all stages.
Overall, I thought they did a good job, but they are AI, so they did leave out key arguments in the debate. I now asked Chat-GPT to create a policy based solely on the discussion. Here are the results. It allowed first trimester abortions to remain fully legal, while only allowing second and third trimester abortions for special exceptions, like if the mother's life were in danger. It also wanted an increase in healthcare, childcare, and financial support. Just for funsies, I asked 5 of the best AI models who they thought did a better job on the debate, and here are the results. Thanks for watching, and leave a like if you enjoyed.